Well,
Let me do that.
can you hear me okay?
I can. What did I do with them? Let's see. Hold on a second.
I can start. I got them.
Okay, yeah, why don't you do that and then I'll pull them up.
I release. I release myself to the mastermind because I am strong when I have others to help me. I believe. I believe the combined intelligence of the mastermind creates a wisdom far beyond my own. I understand. I understand that I will more easily create positive results in my life when I am open to looking at myself, my challenges, and opportunities from another's point of view. I decide. I decide to release my desire totally in trust to the mastermind, and I am open to accepting new possibilities. I forgive. I forgive myself for mistakes I have made. I also forgive others who have hurt me in the past so I can move into the future with a clean slate. I ask. I ask the mastermind to hear what I really want, my goals, my dreams, and my desires, and I hear my mastermind partners supporting me in my fulfillment. I accept. I know, relax, and accept, believing that the working power of the mastermind will respond to my every need. I am grateful knowing this is so. Dedication and covenant. I now have a covenant in which it is agreed that the mastermind shall supply me with an abundance of all things necessary to live a success-filled and happy life. I dedicate myself to be to be of maximum service to the world and my fellow human beings, to live in a manner that will set the highest example for others to follow, and to remain an open channel of God's will. I go forth with a spirit of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy.
Awesome. Thank you for that, brother. Appreciate you. And a little bit of housekeeping as we go forward. Again, we're masterminding together in a book called God Works Through You. So if you're new, it's just an Amazon download. I have it on Kindle. I have the hard copies, and we're masterminding in that content together. And it's just something that I encourage you guys to read, like either every night, every morning, 5 or 10 minutes. I've gone through this book multiple times. We went through Power of Awareness. Our next book is going to be The Science of Getting Rich. We're going to go a little bit left brain because the last two books, Michael, it's your suggestion, bro. But it's also, we've been kind of very right-brained, right? With God Works Through You and Power of Awareness. Those are more right-brained. So we're going to get a little left brain here. But I encourage you guys to have that on your nightstand in 5 or 10 minutes, 15 minutes at night. Keep masterminding that content. The second thing is we have a life script class coming up that's free to you guys. It's part of your membership. It's a 2-hour class. If you don't have a very well recorded life script, I encourage you to attend, or even if you do have one, you might learn some things. And I personally think that having a recorded life script, it's the written and spoken story of you in the future as if it already existed today. It's super powerful. One of the most powerful things that I think we do. I think the team will put in the chat here the link to that. And you guys get that for free. I don't know what we're charging, a couple $100, but there should be a link in the chat. Or we'll put a link inside of the WhatsApp group as well for that.
Do you know when it is? What day, what time?
I think it's next Thursday. Let me check my calendar. Maddie, do you know offhand?
Yeah, it's August 27th, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, and there won't be a link for you guys to sign up. You'll just get a welcome access email.
August?
So just keep an eye on your email.
August?
This month. April 27th, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd I say?
August.
Yeah. April.
Something I need to know, bro. Yeah. So it's coming up this month, sorry. And just a reminder too, especially for anybody new, you guys have access to Thinking and Results as part of this membership. You can go back through it. You own the content for life. I highly, highly encourage that. You can show up for the Monday nights at 8 o'clock and just go through that as many times as you want. If it's been a year or two, jump back in. And you guys also have access to the Mindset Masters, which Madison and Angie just completely restructured. And I'm not going to let the cat totally out of the bag, but we're going to be bringing a lot of guests, a lot of interviews, just a ton of value. I know Kevin shows up. I know Lenny shows up for that. So it's a lot of, a lot of meetings, and you obviously don't have to hit them, but I want to let you know that you do have access to Thinking and Results for Life and also Mindset Masters. Blake, you got a question, bud?
I did, man. Yeah. On the subject of Thinking and Results, So Valerie introduced me to the version that's on the Proctor Gallagher website, and then there's the version that's housed within sort of the Matrix website. Which do you recommend using, or both simultaneously somehow?
Either or, yeah, it's just for your convenience. You have multiple sources. Sometimes the PGI website goes down, so we have a backup.
Okay.
And on the PGI site, there's more information. So you have a license to their portal, and it is redundant, but it's meant to be a redundancy. You can use either or both as you see fit.
Got it. And can you remind me, was it you do 2 chapters a day for 12 straight days? I may have it backwards here.
The lessons in thinking and the results, the videos are twice a day, every day for 2 weeks. So if you're on lesson 1, you literally just play lesson 1 twice a day, every day for 2 weeks. Once in the morning, once at night, or back to back, whatever you want. And then you go lesson by lesson.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Monday nights is where we go deep into the content. And some of the people here have been with this group for coming up on 3 or 4 years. Might have been a while since you guys went through TIR structured. So I seen Lenny shaking his head. So it's good to jump in there. He's always in there. So just want to remind you guys of all the benefits of the Elite 100. And lastly, we have hot seats too. Quite a few of you now have the potential. Blake, you're one of them. I know Chris. Chris Norton, Joe, you'll get one whenever you want. Just raise your hands when you guys want, or if you're a continuing member, you can always raise your hand for one as well. If you have a new challenge, a new business, a new launch, don't forget that you guys have access to the hot seat coaching. All right, any questions on any of that before we move forward to Corbin's overview of Orange Comet? All right, Corbin, do you guys need screen share? I think this is just a 5-minute kind of update.
Yeah, no, this is just a quick update. So, and then after Ed drops off, I'll just do a quick ask. But I wanted to just take a second to introduce Ed Lowe. He's one of the co-founders of Orange Comet. Ed and I have been working together now for over 5 years. We worked together in the last company that we took public, and you know, I like to take credit for that, but in reality, Ed did most of the work, and I got to ride his coattails and learn from him. And he was gracious enough to mentor me through that. But I wanted to do a quick update on Orange Comet, everything that they're doing now. One, because a lot of the elite members are already invested in there, and 2, because there's an opportunity that I'll share afterwards. So, Ed, with that, let me just turn it over to you and have you give a quick update.
Hi, nice to meet everyone. Jumping on this here in the last couple minutes, Corbin invited me. Just by way of background, I'm an entrepreneur, like a lot of people on this call. I spent some time in India doing some real estate development back in early 2002. My other business partner and I, Will Maris, started a company called IMH. It was a lending fund. We raised about $900 million. Morgan Stanley was our largest investor. Took that company public and had a successful exit. About 2 years ago, we started Orange Comet. I am one of the founders. The CEO is a fellow named Dave Broom. He's the creator of The Biggest Loser. He's a fabulous Hollywood producer. His last project was Jennifer Lopez's documentary on Netflix. He's produced thousands and thousands of hours of entertainment. And what we attempted to do and what we're doing is to create a gaming and entertainment company in the world of Web3. And we have a very simple business thesis. We take known Hollywood brands, large IPs such as Fast and Furious or Squid Games, and we take that IP and then we develop Web3 entertainment and games. Over the last 2 years, we've raised $25 million. In December, we purchased a company called Mint State Labs. It's one of the top Web3 gaming companies around. They were funded by 3 VCs. They're award-winning MIT grads. Our CTO used to run AI for Microsoft. So we put together this great team of entertainment, business executives, and gaming executives. And we're locking down some of the biggest IP in the world. If you visit orangecomet.com, you can see one of our earlier projects, AMC's The Walking Dead. And we developed that property and we're releasing the beta of that game here in Q3. It's been in the works now for about 1.5 years. And because of that, we have almost the whole book of AMC. In fact, we just found out from Paramount Studios, we just locked down Star Trek and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to develop games. Now we're also putting these games on Roblox and Fortnite. Gaming is a billion-dollar business that far exceeds Hollywood by very, multiples. And we have deals with NBC Universal, DreamWorks, Sony, Netflix, and we're just locking down massive IP. We're just launching a $5 million offering with Joseph Gunner. That's already been subscribed, we're told. And that's a safe offering. And we're having deep dive discussions with VCs to take the company to the next level with an eye toward an IPO. And that's our goal. Will Maris has been the CEO of several public companies. Our business team, Eric Nakamura, he's a Silicon Valley all-star CFO, been involved in several IPOs. That's our goal with this company. And we stair-stepped and financed the company. But more importantly, we're just knocking the cover off the ball as far as getting IP and executing on our strategy. So I don't know what else I can fill you guys in on, but it's really an exciting project. We have a lot of big announcements coming up. And really, we're being told by the top studios in the world that they've never seen anything like Orange Comet. And it's evidenced by the deals that we're locking down and developing these Web3 entertainment games.
Very cool. Appreciate the update, sure. And I think there is quite a few people here that are invested in that deal. So it's just nice to hear kind of where you guys are at and what some of the new developments are.
Ed, just talk real quick about the Netflix Squid Games.
It hasn't been publicly released yet, but looks like we're locking down the Squid Games property. And that's an exciting property because it's the most watched television show in the world, the most watched series in the world. And it's a massive global audience, and it's perfect for a Web3 game in which participants can play the game. If you've ever watched the television series, it has all these different challenges, and that's set up perfect for a mobile and a computer game that we're building for them. So we're pretty excited about that. We're excited about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles property. Seth Rogen is launching a big movie remake of that property, so it'll fit perfect for a release of that property. So yeah, and these properties, generate tens of millions of dollars and in perpetuity. So they're just cash cows, and we continue to lock down more and more games, and we're excited.
Sounds good. Well, Ed, I appreciate the time. Just for the quick update for everybody that's already in, and we'll continue to bring you on every once in a while to give everybody updates. So I appreciate your time.
Next time I'll have a little eye candy for you. I'll be more prepared. Anyone that wants to reach out to me directly and just kind of riff about what's going on, Corbin, feel free to share my cell number, and we got a new deck I can let you circulate as well, Corbin.
Sounds great.
Thanks, guys. Nice meeting you, and be blessed.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
See you.
So Brian, real quick, I'll close this down. When we originally did the offer 6 months ago or so, we got in on the original safe at $6.40, and I think that the next round's at $10, and I've got an opportunity to buy some insider shares at $5 right now, and so I'm sharing that. I can pick up about 100,000 shares, and so if anybody's interested in adding to their existing share or picking up some additional shares or whatever, just let me know.
You know what I think we could do, which is awesome. I know there's quite a few people that are existing owners. We should maybe we could do a satellite on a Thursday and have Ed come back and do a full-blown pitch, because we have quite a few new members.
Sure.
That haven't seen it at all. And if you want to schedule that, we can. And then what we do, and again, for new people, when we have investments, we'll do them usually on a Thursday on a satellite. So it's only people that are interested show up. It's not like a mandatory meeting.
Cool.
If you want, we can do that.
Sounds good.
Cool. Awesome. One last update, and then we'll get into some content. For a lot of you guys are invested in the movie deals that Phil Goldfine from about a year and a half ago or something. I just got a text from him. It says everything is now in Lionsgate. They have all the legal delivery done. They have physical productions done. The movies will come out November 1st and 2nd in December. But now that they have confirmation and legal delivery, we should be getting our original investment money back, and then we'll be into the royalty part, the fun part. So just a little quick update from Phil. And why don't we'll shift gears into some content here. We'll pull this up. And we'll just pick up from where we left off, and we'll be winding down God Works Through You, I think, fairly shortly here. Oh no, maybe there's about half of it left. And we'll be getting into Science of Getting Rich coming up. But Corbin, do you want to lead us here? Right? Maybe start from right here, the law of mind.
Absolutely.
Thanks, brother.
There we go. The law of mind is the law by which spirit acts. It is a medium through which thoughts become things, or through which invisible ideas become visible effects. Like all other spiritual laws, it is universal, neutral, and impersonal. The law of mind does not choose, decide, or select. It knows only how to act. You say, be this or do that, and it is compelled by its nature to obey your word. It knows nothing about what you specify in your prayer any more than the law of gravity knows that the Empire State Building is heavier than a sheet of paper, but holds both in place. Reasoning deductively, the subjective mind through which the universal mind acts does whatever you tell it to do, just as the law of...
I just want to mastermind a little bit there, because I think I see a lot of people, not so much in this group, but in our some of our other groups, for people that are new to the content and understanding, universal laws. I see a lot of people get stuck, like sort of consciously praying, like the shit hits the fan and they're in trouble, either with business or health. And I've even done this in the past. And we kind of go into a mode of like, okay, I'm gonna pray about this, and we consciously sort of pray about wanting the polar opposite solution, almost like in a panic mode. So how many of you know people that kind of get into that mode? Like they just kind of go along their life, and then the shit hits the fan, and all of a sudden they find God, and now they're praying, right? But they're doing it under duress and panic and stress, and they're forcing it. It's a conscious thing. My thought, and I'm open to what you guys think about this, what they're talking about here is the constant thought energy that we put out without knowing it, right? When we're awake, we're constantly praying. We're putting mental thought energy out. And if you have a fear-based mindset, you're going to attract fear-based things. And if you have a faith-based positive mindset, we're going to attract positive things. But I was just curious as to what some of you guys thought about, these last couple of paragraphs here. Antonio?
So I raised my hand a little bit earlier because I do know a lot of people that tend to, like, when shit hits the fan, now it's time to pray. Now, this is an appropriate time to pray and look to the heavens and why is this going on? Please, Jesus, come down and help me. But when I read that and when I think about that, I was like, actually, that's what I was taught, that's what you should do is when situations like this happen, then do it. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't actually until getting into this content where it started clicking that prayer, thoughts, everything, it's kind of the same thing. And so you got to make sure that you're just mindful of it, because you're, even in worrying, it's, as Brian, you said this, worrying is praying for what you don't want. And it's like, oh, so you're essentially praying all the time. So just when are you bringing it attention and focus, and when are you locked in on it? So I thought that was interesting, because I thought you pray when shit hits the fan, or on Sundays right before you get pizza.
I've done it. I'm guilty. Before, this is one of my 30s and 40s, early 40s, before I started studying with Bob. But absolutely, it's like, why is this happening to me? And I think the
why are you doing this to me? Not now.
The plane of awareness to get to is what I call a constant state of gratitude. Right. If you're constantly in gratitude, that is positive prayer. That's high frequency. You're just like thankful for what is health, love, the elite 100. Like I'm in constant gratitude for you guys. So my thinking is to condition ourselves to be in a constant state of gratitude, and then, I mean, absolutely meditate and get into the higher asks. But yeah, I've been guilty of that. Lenny?
So I've been going back and forth with this book, God Works Through You, and the power of awareness, and also looking at persistence in Think and Grow Rich. And I'm not telling everybody here anything they don't already know. These are all so intertwined that one feeds off of the other. So, and then I go back and forth about that. And then every day I read our Mastermind principles, and I do go forth with a spirit of enthusiasm, expectancy, and excitement. And so what I'm doing is, being the farmer that I am, I'm prepping that field every day. I'm making sure that that soil's ready for the next thought that comes into it. And heck, I know where I was. I was the guy that could only see this negative stuff. Now, every morning, I read that last line in our Mastermind principles, and it sets the day. So interesting how it all works together if you see it.
Yeah, no, you and I've been masterminding in this content with each other for quite some time now. And yeah, it's amazing how it changes over time. The more we read it, the more we study it, the more we get into it. It's really awesome to watch how it evolves. Nelson?
Yeah, so you said exactly what I was going to say. Being in a constant state of gratitude, constantly throughout the day, being in a constant state of gratitude, thanking God for what you have, for your situation, for your health. I mean, just any numerous things that you can be thankful for on a consistent basis, that puts you at a high vibration. And then the secret is, and the trick is, when things aren't going so well, if you've conditioned yourself to be in a high state of gratitude continuously, even when things aren't going well, you're operating at a higher level of vibration, which allows you to step back and process the negative thing instead of it being a marble that's held right up against your eye and the only thing you see is negative, right? It allows you to process negative things much more effectively and objectively, because things are going to happen, right? Family, friends, I mean, there's situations that come up. And so it prepares you to be able to handle those situations even better.
I agree 100%. I think as we talk about raising our level of awareness and raising it to the point of understanding that negative and positive don't mean good and bad. They just mean negative and positive. That is something I think humans have a real challenge with, myself included. Like when we see something that we perceive as negative, we get sadness, anxiety, disorder, chaos. But we don't have to do that. We don't have to react that way. We can look at things as negative and positive without associating good and bad to them. I think that brings a certain level of awareness and a state of calmness on processing things. So, Antonio?
Just one quick add on that, like just touch on what everyone else said was, so for me, my concept of prayer, like I grew up in my Mexican Catholic family where like when I think of prayer, it's like the rosary is out and then now it's an hour and 45 minutes of prayer. And we're like, I don't want to do this. My knees are bleeding, type of thing. But I saw some stuff from Jocko Willink some time back, because there's definitely different mindsets of how you approach gratitude. And I remember there's this YouTube video from Jocko Willink talking about good, like this happened with, your job. Good. It allows you to do this. And so for me, when I thought about prayer and gratitude and being kind of happy-go-lucky, I didn't always find myself naturally inclined to maybe behave that way. But when I saw that and those things, it actually was more in alignment with me and my personality of it's a little bit more direct and as a matter of fact. And that helped me still feel that gratitude, but without maybe behaving in a different way. And that helped me out a ton in applying those principles.
Well, I love that. I think what you're talking about, I think I've seen this guy on YouTube. No matter what happened, he would say, that's good. I mean, even COVID or loss of a loved one, he would literally program them. So it's good. And then you say, what's good about it? Is that the same guy that I'm thinking of?
Yeah. Jocko Willink, ex-Navy SEAL, lieutenant. Yeah, he's.
Yep, it triggered his mind to automatically say, that's good, which sounds horrifying to some
Good,
situation.
you can be more tactical. You're like, all right, bro.
Michael, what about you, bud?
I kind of feel like the opposite happens to me. Like we have this meeting and everybody talks about gratitude and nothing's really going on. And I'm like super grateful for what's going on and la-di-da and everything's great. And then something happens and I get away from it. And then I'm just sort of, you know, praying for things I don't want, like Antonio said.
Worrying,
Just
yeah.
kind of going through those type of things. And I guess all I'm saying is that that's what I'm working through now.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of this group, right? So there's certain things you can do and Bob always just says, step one is awareness. So when you become aware, let's say something happens, right? It's an environmental stimulus. So number one, start calling it an environmental stimulus. That's what all of this stuff is out there. It's environmental stimulus is how we process the information as an electromagnetic being is that's what we're working with here. So if something happens, usually it's in the business world, or maybe it's a health thing with a loved one or yourself. But a lot of times I think what you're talking about is business related, like, right? So if we learn to put it out there, number two is like, okay, I'm aware, like, wow, I just felt my vibration. And maybe you're in worry or doubt. And then we have a whole bunch of things we can do. One of the things might help is to pull this book out or pull out, Bob used to do this all the time. Anytime something would happen, he would pull out Think and Grow Rich. I like the power of awareness, or this book here. If I get off track mentally, I can literally just pull this book out and start reading. And it brings me right back to spirit. You can pull out your gold card. You can listen to your life script. That for me is like, that will change everything no matter what. I don't care what's going on. I can plug in my life script and just start listening to myself, and I'll go zip, right back up into high vibrations. We have all these tools, right? Gold card, vision book. You have this group. You could also phone anybody here if you get off. I encourage you guys to do that. Literally connect with each other. It's like, bro, I'm having a meltdown, talking me off the ledge. Like, seriously, call me, text any one of us. But this is what we're doing together. We're getting better and better and better. We're never going to be perfect, but we're moving towards that so that we spend less and less and less time in panic mode and more and more time in gratitude. But it's a process. You're the same thing for everybody here. So
I think the irony is that some of this stuff I wished for on myself. So like when we went to the elite retreat, I said, you know, I wanted to move away from my partner. And then he calls me the other day and says, hey, I can move to another firm and take these 2 paralegals. So this will work. Let's do it in June. So suddenly terror barrier. I'm like, I wanted this to go slowly, but.
And then there's the power of assumption, right? Phil Goldfine used to always talk about that. We're always doing this. You can't turn this off either. When you're consciously awake, you're always assuming something, whether you realize it or not. And if you have fear or worry, you're assuming not in the wrong direction. You're assuming in a direction that's not serving you. So since we're going to assume, why not assume that there's good? Like the reason this is ramping up is because God is working through you and for you. Everything happens for you, not to you. So that's the power of assumption. Since we're always going to assume, and since we have control of it, why not choose to pause and assume that it must be good? And again, that's every conversation we have like this is going to build the paradigm of everybody here, raising our level of awareness to be able to use this stuff. Dave, what's up, bud?
I just want to comment on that. I think what I've discovered and what I've discovered for myself is there's 2 operating systems. We've got our ego or our higher self. And the ego stands for edging God out. And so the challenge that we face when we're in this physical universe is that most everybody on planet Earth is operating out of the ego. And to read these words and to do it is just to listen to the words. But the truth is that to feel it, to be this, and that's getting into your higher self. And to me, there's a lot of different ways to raise your awareness. And one of them is chanting. The oldest language on planet Earth is Sanskrit. And Sanskrit was considered language from the gods. So whatever that means is whatever it means. But when you chant that language, it raises your awareness and your frequency and your consciousness. So if you're meditating on a chattering mind, then it's no good. And so it's better to start with chanting to elevate your mind so that when you do meditation, you're in that higher self. Another great thing, probably a lot of you are doing, is the cold plunge or breathing. The cold plunge is great. It really knocks you out of fight or flight. It knocks you out of the ego for 24 hours. So it's a great way. If you're not doing cold plunge, I'm going to tell you, it's the best anti-aging, best meditation, best technique that there is, that is a practical system. And you don't have to do it for that long. You do it for 3 to 5 minutes, and your heart rate will go down 10 beats per minute for 24 hours. Raise your testosterone rate by 2,000%, growth hormone by 2,000%. But more importantly, what it does is it releases endorphins in your brain. So it's a great way to be this. And I think it's very powerful. So just some things to consider.
No, I love it. Honestly, I'm curious too, because I've been toying around with the cold plunge thing too. Is that supposed to be a daily activity? Is it, I mean, like, obviously there's tanks that you can go to. Is it a morning thing? Is it a nightly thing?
I tell you what, my friends, we should do it. I did it with the Tony Robbins group when I first started. I hated the cold, but I've been doing it for 2 years now, and I love it. So you don't need to do it every day. You could do it 3 times a week. And to get that maximum, you only need to do it for 3 minutes.
Okay.
Typically, I would start off at like 60 degrees and then get it down to 50. That way you can do it in a gradient. But the key to that is breathing. So you breathe, it will increase the heat in you, and then you get in, and it's blissful. So yeah, you don't have to do a lot. And what I did is I just went to what is it called? Home Depot, and get a horse trough. It was $100, and the horse seat up, and I take that, put water in it, put the ice in it, boom, I got my cold plunge. So or if I do it at my house, I just pick up 4 bags of ice at Publix, throw it in there, and get in there, and it's freaking awesome. So maybe we can do a challenge and see if by next week we could get everybody to try it at least a couple times and see how everybody feels.
Yeah, they have
as a motivation.
They have a pool here at my place in Brickell, and the thing's set to like 45 or 50. It is cold AF, bro.
Yeah.
And I don't know the breathing pattern, so I got in there. I physically went. It was quite intense. So
it's intense. The key is to breathe, and you do this 30 times, go down, get that, and then there's a way to get in. And if you do the technique, it's super easy. Obviously, if you don't know the strategy.
Would you be willing to do a quick satellite on like a Thursday on the breathing techniques? Is, like I said, that's the
absolutely. I can shoot maybe a quick video when I do it or something and show you.
Yeah, just something, because I don't know how. Like my breath was like it got taken away. I was like, holy shit.
It's pretty cool, because what I do when I get in there, do the breathing, the first thing I do is I pray. I said, dear Lord, dear Jesus, I surrender my mind, body, soul to you. Thank you. And then from there, I just get into gratitude. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. And by the time I go through that prayer, boom, you're done. And because
you wouldn't mind maybe just shooting a video, if you don't mind, of the next time you do it. I think 100%. I see a lot of heads nodding here. I think I would love to myself personally understand a little bit more about it. And
and I invite anybody that's in Clearwater, hit me up. I'll take it personally and do it. It's pretty cool.
Love it, bro. Awesome. Well, I love where that went. Why don't we continue here? And I was going to have Mr. Chris Norton, where you at? You want to take over right from here, reasoning deductively? Oh, where did Chris go? I saw him there a minute ago. He might have had to bounce. Nelson, you want to pick up from there, brother? Thank you, pal.
So from reasoning deductively? Yep. Reasoning deductively, the subjective mind through which the universal mind acts does whatever you tell it to do, just as the law of electricity acts when you call upon electric power to be a light, to run a pump, to toast your bread, or to wash your clothes. But the law of mind will do for you only what it can do through you. The good you seek is not complete until you accept it. When you say, I can do this, and follow it with the thought, no, I really can't, you cancel out the constructive thought and accomplish nothing. You cannot compel or force the law, but you can provide beliefs and concepts on which it may operate. Someone has aptly said, you do not hold the law in place, you hold your ideas in place. Jesus said, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Law. Jehoshaphat said, ye shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourselves, stand ye still, and see the salvation of the Lord with you. And St. Paul said, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand.
So I just wanted to back up a little bit. Michael, this goes to your point, right? When you say I can do this and follow with the thought, no, I can't. That's kind of what you were talking about. Like, we come here, we get all charged up and say, oh my God, we're in spirit, right? And then something happens and we allow the something to cause us to react. And I'm using the word allow because we don't have to allow that. We can stop and compartmentalize the thing and get back into the, quote unquote, I can do this. So I just wanted the reason why I highlighted it kind of goes to your point on what you were saying, Michael.
And I just watched a Bob Proctor video on faith versus fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's really the same thing. You're going to have faith that you either can, or you're going to have fear that you can't. You got to believe in one or the other, right? You might as well believe in the one that you can.
That's what we say, right? It's no neutral thinking. You're either a little bit in faith or a lot of it in faith, or a little bit in fear or a lot of it in fear. And a lot of times, guys, the outside thing is outside of our control. And I think that's where the fear comes from. I don't fear anything that I control, right? The business, but sometimes we're involved in a situation where there's outside forces controlling the outcome. And whatever the outcome is, we look at it as if it doesn't go our way, it's a bad thing, instead of saying it's all part of the main thing and it must be for good somehow, some way, and then looking for the good. I think that's the trick to this, is looking for the good when we perceive something to be bad. And take over from there, bud.
Keep going.
Yeah.
You do not need to struggle or storm the battlements of heaven to receive your good. All you have to do is recognize that there is a law that acts upon your word and speak that word with conviction. Your part is to have a perfect realization of the fulfillment of your desire, to believe that the law is working, and to accept the wish fulfilled, to generate faith in your claim, to let go and let it materialize. Faith sets the law in motion. Faith causes the formless to take form. Faith enables you to stand still while the law is doing its work. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is both the substance and the evidence of every demonstration. Now make sure that you understand this procedure. Your objective experience is always determined by the subconscious state of your thought. You can consciously impress upon the subconscious mind the medium through which the law works, such conditions and desires as you wish to see fulfilled.
So I just wanted this is what we're working on here together, right? It starts off with the thinking and results journey, goes into lead the field, and then we get much, much, much deeper with content like this. But our what we're experiencing in the physical plane is always going to be determined by our subconscious programming, right? And that's, Michael, getting back to your point, it's up to you to consciously program the subconscious to install new programs based on faith and based on knowingness and based on assuming that everything is working for you and through you and in a positive manner. So this is the part where we consciously choose to spend time each day rewiring our subconscious. Because when we go to sleep, or even when you're awake, your subconscious is always has programs running, right? We have all these subsystems and breathing and different things. There's always background programs running in the subconscious, and we are in control of implementing and strengthening the ones that we recognize as beneficial, which there's a program called Constant State of Gratitude that I always work on. Because I understand that if that program's running, a fear-based program can't be running, right? You can't run fear and faith at the same time. They're different frequencies. So if we consciously decide to install the program called gratitude, and it's for me, it was very forced, by the way. I literally wrote down 10 things in the morning, 10 things at noon, 10 things at night that I was grateful for. It was very left brain mechanical, but I understood from Bob and my engineering background what I was doing and why it worked. It felt super mechanical at first. Now I'm in a pretty much constant state of gratitude, 10 years later, but so you can install these programs. So if anybody here gets pulled easily off track, I would suggest do what I did, like 10 things in the morning, 10 things at lunch, 10 things at night, write out 10 things you're grateful for, and do it every single day for the next year or until, right? And you'll build that. Nelson?
Side note on this topic, and it kind of goes into the group chat we had on WhatsApp about kids. And I had a conversation with some friends of mine about a week and a half ago. When you have kids, everything goes faster. Time goes faster, right? Gratitude is a tool you can use to actually slow down time. So if you practice frequent gratitude, especially when you're spending time with your kids, it has the effect of actually slowing down time, because you're actually focusing in on the now of the moments that you're spending with kids with a higher level of gratitude for the simple things, them learning a new trick on their scooter, them making a great play at baseball, whatever is happening in that moment with your kids. If you focus on the gratitude of that experience in that moment, it can actually slow time down, because you'll have more moments that are etched in your brain from the experience with your kids.
I love that. I mean, time is a conscious concept anyway. It's all subjective to your experience. So it doesn't exist in spirit. So it's a very physical, individual thing. And the perception of slowing down time, absolutely, when you're living for the present in the moment. So I love that. Dave?
The last thing I just want to comment on, we're ending up here, that the book talks about the subconscious mind is where it's going to manifest and come together. The problem that we're facing is so severe that most people don't get it, because we know conscious mind is maybe 1%, subconscious mind is 90-something% of the thoughts, actions, and behaviors. The problem is, and I probably mentioned this before, when I was a kid, I drank a half a fifth of Seagram 7s, and I threw up for 2 days and I got sick. So what happens when I smell that alcohol today? My body gets sick, right? But even more, what if I think about that alcohol? My body still gets sick. So a thought can change the physiology of your body. Now, the crazy thing is, no matter how many affirmations or Tony Robbins seminars I go to, is it going to go away? No. The only way to make those programs go away that happen from 0 to 8 years old is through timeline therapy that I know of. So you have to regress, go back in that altered state of consciousness, go back to the events and find them and pull them out. There's no other way. Affirmations work, but I'm telling you, programs are set. And that's the only way I found it to be true. And I've done hundreds of sessions on people. And what's even interesting, even more, Brian, in the group, is that I'll do sessions and then people will go back to birth. So they'll be in the womb and they're actually downloading and picking up all the patterns from their mom. And then if you want to go to another level, people go back to past life and they're picked up the patterns. So majority of the people don't realize that there's prenatal patterns and there's postnatal patterns. And these patterns are affecting people underneath their awareness that is catastrophically destroying their life. So just something for people to consider. If you're struggling with anything from allergies to scoliosis to fear or not good enough, not worthy enough, whatever, that would be the key, is to find somebody to regress you back.
Yeah, I haven't done any of that myself. Who here has done like any past life regression or going backwards? Greg, yeah? Did you do that with Dave, or what'd you do?
Yeah, I mean, Dave told a story in the speaker mastery workshop about the 15-year-old kid with a stuttering problem that was being bullied. And I think, Dave, didn't you say like in the womb, he heard his dad say like he wanted to abort him? And like, as soon as Dave like cleared that, like his stuttering like disappeared. Like it was like, I mean, that was a pretty powerful story, obviously, but like Dave took us into like, past life stuff too, obviously during that, but it's incredible, but it does work.
Yeah. That guy, if you remember, Brian, the guy that spoke at your event, who's the guy that does the health with the red hair? Brad?
Brad, yep.
Yeah. He went back to a past life and he was a Viking getting ready to go to war.
I still is.
It would have been cool. So
That's
it's
awesome. Yeah, I
crazy.
can totally see that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. If
Yeah,
you
we'll have
if
to
you
do,
want to learn
we'll have
about
to do some more stuff with
reincarnation,
that.
there's a great book called Many Masters, Many Lives by Brian West. And he is a Harvard psychiatrist that documented his journey of discovering that. Many
Okay.
Masters, Many Life. Fun read, real quick book. Guy out of Miami, but it kind of brought that to my awareness that that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to discover your truth and what makes sense to you.
What is the book? Many Masters, Many Lives?
Yep. Brian
Awesome.
West. It's a powerful, cool book. It's fun too.
Awesome.
Dan's read it, right? You like it, Dan? It was good. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, everybody. Well, thank you for coming to the Mastermind. Hope you get some good value. We got a lot of major exciting things coming up in the Matrix. So stay tuned for the chats, the emails, the different things we have going on. We're going to start to get information on the next retreat and just all kinds of good things. So I just love the people that we're attracting. The membership is growing. We literally are rounding out all the different verticals. We have masters in a lot of different verticals, as evidenced by Dave Steck and Blake and what they were doing in real estate and the state of the economy. And every one of you is a master in your own field. So I just love where we're building. Appreciate and love each and every one of you. Until next week, be well and God bless. And yeah, Dave, if you could do a little quick video on the procedure for the cold plunge. I personally would love to see what the hell you do with your breathing, because that shit was no joke. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you guys. Be well, everybody.